Welcome to the Thinking Big podcast. This is part 3 of a special 14-day Think and Grow Rich challenge. I recently hosted a live 14-day Think and Grow Rich challenge that benefited Feeding America. It turned out amazing, and I thought it would be a great idea to put these challenges right here on the podcast. So for 14 days straight, I will be releasing a new podcast and the associated challenge that covers each of the 13 steps in Think and Grow Rich, plus a bonus challenge for the introduction. And it doesn't matter if you've ever read the book or not, the challenge is designed for anybody to do. There is a link within the show notes, so you can go sign up for free if you want to watch the videos, or if you want to download the challenge worksheets. You can also get a free PDF copy of the original Think and Grow Rich book. So today, we are thinking big and talking about my favorite chapter in the book, the chapter on desire, the starting point of all achievement, and the first step in having success in anything that you want to do.
Welcome to the Thinking Big podcast with Sean Osborne, the show helping you think bigger into your life and potential. Sean believes by equipping you with the tools, strategies, and philosophies required to be successful in all aspects of your life, you can achieve anything you believe in. Empowering our own growth makes a deeply positive and lasting impact on our lives, community, and our world. Now, here's Sean.
Hello, everybody. It is so good to see people up here. I know there's some issues with this platform on the live. I don't know what it is. If you can't see this live, I'm recording this locally. I'm going to put it up right after this session. So people who can't see it remotely for some reason will have it right after this session. Today is day 3, and today we're talking about desire. And before we get into desire, I want to start off with some quotes from other people that are in line with what we're talking about within this step, within this chapter of Think and Grow Rich, which is desire. So here's the first one. Mark Twain: I can teach anyone how to get what they want out of life. The problem is, I can't find anybody who can tell me what they want. Oh, that's so true. James Allen: you will become as great as your dominant aspirations. If you cherish a vision, a lofty idea in your heart, you will realize it. Andrew Carnegie: if you want to be happy, set a goal that commands your thoughts, liberates your energy, and inspires your hopes. Henry David Thoreau: if one advances confidently in the direction of their dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with success unexpected and common hours. That is one of my favorite all-time quotes. So again, today is on desire. This is the first chapter in Think and Grow Rich. And this is probably one of the most important chapters as well. It's one of my favorites. I think they're all my favorites, but this is definitely one of my favorites. And one of the things I want you to make sure you do is you have an open mind. We talked about it at the beginning. We might talk about stuff within this chapter that you don't necessarily agree with, or it doesn't resonate with you yet, or it's just it doesn't sound right to you, but have an open mind to whatever we say and whatever we do within here. And in this chapter, and it's actually going to be the challenge for the day. Hill lays out 6 steps that we will go over. And these 6 steps aren't suggestions. These 6 steps you must do in order to magnetize your mind and your subconscious. Your subconscious mind doesn't know right from wrong, doesn't know good from bad. It just knows what is. Your subconscious is extremely literal. If you say, I want more money, and you get $1, well, your subconscious knows, well, you got more money and it goes on its way. It doesn't know beginning things and ends it. So in other words, if you say, oh God, I don't want to get fat, or I don't want to be broke, all it gets is fat and broke. And it goes to work on fat and broke. So part of this, what this does is this is going to help magnetize your mind on thinking of what you do want, what you do want to get out of things. And every successful person I don't care who you see, you learn about them, you hear about them, you see them, they all show signs of these causes of success that are in Think and Grow Rich. Every single person that I've ever looked at that's been successful, I can trace out every step within Think and Grow Rich. As a matter of fact, last night I was watching after the live, watching a TV show. Don't watch much TV, but when we do, and it was called Chef's Table. And if you've never seen that show, it's actually a fantastic show because they sit down and they talk with people that are extremely passionate about what they do, and they always talk about how they got where they are. How they became these amazing chefs, how they did what they did, and it always follows the steps within Think Roach. This one I was watching last night, he became at a young age, 13, 14, he became aware of cooking. He became aware of the kitchen because he had to do it. He's from Germany and they said, okay, you can either be a chef or you can be a gardener. And he goes, oh, I like to cook. I'll be a chef. Once he started doing that, that's when it started doing him and he started having the burning desire to do better. You have to do the thing before the thing does you, before you get the burning desire. And then it went into, how he would do anything to get further ahead in what he was doing. He was all the specialized knowledge. He was working, 18 hours a day, getting specialized knowledge, like, all the cookbooks he could find, trying to work with all the best chefs that he could get with. He would go to them, just kind of like, Barnes did with Edison. He sought them out. He wanted to work with them, and he went years struggling with people not believing in him, years of struggle, of people not seeing his imagination. He was using his imagination on how he could take these ingredients and do this and do this, and nobody listened to him. He became, no one listened to him. And he was very distraught for a while, and then all of a sudden he broke through, and now he was rated the number one chef. He's, Michelin star, don't know what all that means, but he's in Michelin star restaurants. But that right there, he did Think and Grow Rich. He did the laws of success. He did that from the burning desire to the persistence to not give up no matter what it was, to using the imagination to create something new, something different that's not there, and finally breaking through. That is the secret of Think and Grow Rich. And your brain becomes magnetized with the dominating thoughts that you hold in your mind. And these magnets, it attracts forces, it attracts people, it attracts circumstances, in harmony with those dominating thoughts within your head. And we talked about this in the intro, but I talked about the Porsche principle, how powerful your brain is, but until you become aware of something, you don't really notice it anywhere. And the Porsche principle was, for a long time, I wanted a Porsche, I wanted it, and finally got the Porsche. On the way home, all of a sudden I saw a Porsche here, a Porsche there, Porsche just like mine over there, a Porsche over there, because I became consciously aware of that. And once I became consciously aware of that, I see it everywhere. They're everywhere. So you become magnetized and you start seeing things. You attract forces, you attract people on those things that you're becoming consciously aware of. And I hear people all the time, oh, you better save for a rainy day. You better save for a rainy day. For shit's sakes, don't save for a rainy day. If you're thinking rainy day, guess what's going to happen? A rainy day. Instead, why don't you save for the most amazing life, the most amazing vacations, the freedoms, because if you do that and something happens to your air conditioner and it's no big deal. But saving for a rainy day is going to bring a rainy day. And before you can become successful in any great abundance, you must magnetize your mind with the intense burning desire for that success, for those riches, for those, for that health, whatever it is that you're wanting. You've got to have the burning desire. It cannot be a wish. It cannot be a want. That's not going to bring you success. It's got to be a damn obsession, a burning desire to where it becomes an obsession. And what's funny is I used to get obsessed about things that eventually became successful in, and I felt guilty for being obsessed. People would come, "You are so obsessed with that. You are so obsessed." And I took that as a negative thing. Nowadays, my wife will say, "You are getting obsessed with that." I'm like going, "Yes, that means I'm going to become successful." Get obsessed, get that burning desire. Then you have to back those with, definite plans and acquire those specialized skills to do that and back those plans with persistence. You've got to be persistent. We talked about that yesterday. That does not recognize failure. It does not recognize failure. That's what it'll bring you. So these 6 steps, we're going to go through these 6 steps. He calls them the 6, the practical steps to follow in order to transform desire into those riches or whatever it is in their physical form. And today, the challenge, and I think that's on page 28, 102 is where it starts. But before we get into that, because part of this challenge is going to be going through your challenge every day, twice a day, and building a memory of that. And I do a thing that's called Remember Your Future. And I want you to build a memory of the future. That's exactly what this is doing. So we're going to do a little test. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to imagine yourself at a beach. So sit there, you're sitting on the beach. Imagine the sand, how the sand feels on your feet. What's that smell? You smell that, salt air coming in off the ocean. Do you hear the birds? What do you smell? Get that in a memory because you probably have that memory. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to now bend over and I want you to write your name in the sand with your elbow. So I want you to bend down, eyes closed, and I want you to write your name in the sand with your elbow. How does that feel on your elbow? Does it feel scratchy? Does it feel like sandpaper? You know, what is everything that's going on right there? And then, this is something basically what you've done is you've created a memory of the future. It's not a real memory, but if you did that twice a day, you would actually become magnetized to that memory. That would be you've developed a memory. You've used your memory of how a beach looks, how sand feels. You've used your perception of things, and you've used your imagination. How would the sand feel on your elbow? So by doing that, what you're doing is you're creating a future memory. You're creating a memory. And that's exactly what this chapter is about. That's exactly what this is about on the challenge today. It's about magnetizing yourself to that future memory, magnetizing yourself to that goal that you want to set. And this statement of desire is making the decision. I want you to go to page 27. It's line 69 because this is you have to have this. So page 27, line 69. He loaded his soldiers into boats, sailed to the enemy country, unloaded soldiers and equipment, and then gave the order to burn the ships that had carried them. Addressing the men before the first battle, he said, "You see those boats going up in smoke over there? That means we cannot leave these shores alive unless we win. We now have no choice. We now have you've taken away all choices. You've taken away all back out plans. You've taken away all retreats. We win or we perish. So on your dream, on your desire, how can you burn the boats? How can you do that with what you want to do? Burn the boats. You have no other option but to win. You have no other option but to succeed. So we're going to go into the actual challenge for the day. So this is the challenge. And if you really started your reading last night, so yesterday's challenge, the first challenge was to read chapter 9 straight days. And part of that chapter says, go to this chapter and start immediately doing this. How many of you in the chat, how many of you actually went back to the desire and started working on these 6 steps? It clearly states in 9, immediately go and do this. And remember how I said, how you do this is how you do everything? That's what I was meaning. People who are hell bound on getting it done and winning, they read that and they go, I better go to chapter, the desire chapter and start immediately. I better work on these 6 things as they're reading chapter 9. That's where you wanna be. As how you do this is how you do anything. So the first step is the exact amount of money you desire. And again, this book is based on money, but it's success. It could be anything you want. What's the exact outcome that you want? Do you wanna be an Olympic swimmer? Do you want to be, a chef in a five-star Michelin restaurant? You wanna be the head chef? Do you wanna have X number of money? This book is towards money, but you can do anything you want. So what is the exact amount or what is the exact outcome that you want? Not, "I want more money," not, "I wanna be a good chef," not, "I wanna, be a good swimmer." The exact amount that works at a subconscious level when you have exact amounts. Because again, it takes you literally, when you say, "I want more money," and you get 50 cents or a dollar, well, you got more money. There you go. That's what you asked for, that's what you got. Be very specific. What amount feels good to you? I don't want you to, if you're making, 100,000 a year or 50,000 a year, I don't want you to say, "I want $1 billion. I'm going to do $1 billion by next year," because your subconscious is going to know that it's BS. It's got to be something that drives you, something that gives you energy, something that will, make you want to get up in the morning and do it, something that will, drive that desire, but not so much that you won't do it. So it is very important to have that exact amount and think to yourself, what will that do? What do I want to do with that money? Is it pay off debt? Is it, pay off mortgage? Is it travel? Is it, beach home? Is it freedom? Decide on what you're willing. Step number 2 is decide on what you're willing to sacrifice to do it. What are you willing to give? And that's actually step 2, what you intend to give. So what do you intend to give for that you want? What is it that you're going to give in order to get that money, in order to give that fame? Is it time to the process? Is it your heart? Is it your passion? Is it your, time to help people? Is it, your entire mind? Is it your subconscious mind? Are you going to give everything you have? Is it your energy? What is it that you're going to give in response to get what you desire? What is it you're going to give? And if you've ever looked at Jim Carrey, one of the things that he did this. I'm not sure if I would assume it's because of the book, but he did this in a very unique way. He actually wrote himself a check. So he had the exact amount. It was $10 million. He wrote himself a check, $10 million, dated it for a certain time in the future and and he put down there it's for services rendered for acting, acting services rendered. He had that I think for a couple years, and I think it was within the week or 2 weeks of that check, that's when he landed Dumb and Dumber. And guess how much he made on on that movie? It was a $10 million contract. That's what he wrote the check for. He did the same statement of desire. What is it you want? When is it that you want it by? And what are you going to do? He did, for services rendered for his acting. What are you going to do to give in order to get what you want? And the next thing, and again, it was on that check. The next thing you need a definite date. Without a definite date, I'm sorry, it never happens. Without a definite date, it never ever happens. And the one of the steps in this, the sixth step is you need to read this twice a day. When you get up and when you go to bed, you need to read this statement of desire, exactly what you want, whether it's money or whatever it is you want, what you intend to give, the exact date, and what are your plans? What are your plans to do that? What are the next plans? You've got to have a plan to do that, and it doesn't have to be the entire plan. It just has a definite plan. It doesn't say the entire plan. It doesn't say detailed plan. It doesn't say you got to know all the people, you got to know all the technology, you got to know, the entire process. What's the next step to get you in there? What is the definite plan for your next step? You know, Look at a mountain road. If you've ever gone up a mountain road, zigzagging back and forth, you know what your destination is, but you never see any of the road until you get around the next turn. So what is your next turn? Then you make another turn. Then you make another turn until you finally get to your destination, until you finally get to where you're going. You have to have that definite plan. You have to always be moving, always be moving. And here's the thing, more than 2 or 3 steps ahead, shit's going to change anyways. It does you no good because it's going to change. An example for me, if I'm doing this, one of my steps could be, I'm going to call 10 people for my next mastermind. I'm going to physically call 10 people for my next mastermind. I'm going to, finish the course that I'm in. Anything that is moving me towards my goal. Uh, and then once you reach that, you have to reassess, and you got to reassess your plan and redo the plan. Next step, next step, next step. But you have to constantly be moving, constantly evaluating. So the biggest thing I see is people trying to think that they have to have the entire plan. You don't. Just the next step. That's all you need is the next step. And then the fifth step is to write it down out of the 6. So step 1 is, write down the exact amount or exactly what you want. Step 2 is, what do you intend to give in return for the money or whatever you desire? Number 3 is, when's the exact date? Number 4 is, what is your definite plan? Number 5 is, write this down. So you doing this is number 5. And number 6 is to read this twice a day. But here's the thing. I don't want you to just read it. The exact amount of money I desire is $500,000. I intend to give. No, you can't do it like that. That will give you nothing. That will do nothing. You've got to do it with passion. You've got to do it with feeling. When you mix emotion with thought, then it becomes powerful. What I want you to do is I want you to create that future memory. Remember, we did remember your future. So what I want you to do is I want you to write all this stuff down, what you're going to do, the money, but I want you to go to that date in the future, and I want you to create such a powerful memory. I want you to see who's there. I want you to feel how it feels to see that money or see that success or whatever it is you're wanting. How does it feel to be there? What's the smell like? I want it to be such a powerful memory that it drives you, that it builds your burning desire to get there. Because here's the thing, once you get that, so you're going to have this desire, this memory of the future that you want so bad. Oh, it is so amazing. I'm doing the things I want. I'm traveling. I don't have to worry about money. I've got freedom. And then you come back and you're in reality and you're like, I'm not going to give that shit up. That builds a burning desire on what you want. So that is today's challenge. Spend some time on this. I didn't want to spend too much time because you still have to read chapter 9 again today. Remember that. You still have to read chapter 9. I didn't want to spend too much time on this. So that is the chapter on desire. We could have looked at 1,000 things, but this is so important that you get this down, and you got to promise me and from now until you win, until you get what you want, until that time, read this twice a day. Feel it twice a day. I don't even want to say read it twice a day. I want you to bring up that memory twice a day. Twice a day, go there. Twice a day, feel having that money. Feel having that freedom. Feel it twice a day. So until tomorrow, tomorrow's challenge is a good one. It's on faith, and it's faith. It's believing in that you can do it. So until tomorrow, have fun with this challenge. Spend some time with it. Make it the amount or the experience should feel good to you. So if it's 500,000, try a few different things on. Let's say you're wanting riches. You're wanting money. Try a couple different amounts on. $1 million, 2 million, 500,000, 200,000. What resonates with you? What feels good? That's the number you should use on here. What scares you enough that's going to drive you but doesn't shut you down? So until tomorrow, I will see you guys later.